GM. So Bitcoin, CPI and FOMC. The paths are really simple. In one path, Bitcoin is going to 62k, and it needs a strong catalyst to do so. In another path, Bitcoin's going towards the highs. So I'll draw these different paths out. In a bullish path, it's flipping 72 and going to new all-time highs. In a bearish path, it's losing 67 and going to 62. And then in between, it's going to bounce around this value area. The most likely shorter term path is the black path. So if we zoom in again to 4 hour, it's far more likely for this path to happen unless there is a major catalyst, of which we don't see one clearly. But we have the FOMC coming up today. So I think for green or for red, the Fed has to do something unexpected, or inflation needs to do something unexpected. So let's go in, zoomed in even more, and get granular with it here. 1230 UTC. That's CPI. So that's coming out very soon. And then the Fed meeting, which is usually around 6 p.m. UTC. And then Powell's press conference, which comes after. Those are the times to watch. Let me just double check that. Yeah. So below we have support, above we have resistance of the 2021 all-time high. Those are levels that I would expect to see. I don't even expect to see price go that far pre-FOMC, right? So just from the inflation number, I think our downside is limited to there, our upside is limited to there. Now it depends on the number itself. The expectation is 3.4%. If you see inflation come in lower, price will absolutely moon. Make no mistake. If we come in 3.3, 3.2, price is going to pump very hard and stay high until the FOMC. Because there will be then the market pricing in the potential of a surprise rate cut. Will it happen or not? Almost certainly not. So if you did see a pump up into here and it's holding up going into FOMC, don't be surprised if it retraces the whole thing. There's still a lot of bad positioning here, make no mistake. There's still plenty of longs that are in the wrong position, but I'm sure there are also some shorts or panic selling from yesterday that is also poorly timed. Now, if we lose that level, let's say there is a bad inflation number, which by the way, a lot of the selling this week might be in anticipation of. Maybe someone has insider information and they know that the CPI is going to come in hot, 3.5, 3.6, showing a re-acceleration of inflation. You're going to see an initial spike down, and you're probably going to see price chopping in here going into FOMC, at which point it all hinges on what Powell says. But if the inflation rises, there's not going to be a, and this would be the path, by the way, I would expect. If inflation rises, inflation up. This would be my guess. It is just a guess. Your trades are based on your systems around this, and I'll absolutely be trading this today, but using a system I have, which has nothing to do with the number. It's just a set of rules I use. Inflation down. If inflation goes down, I would expect to see, now it doesn't matter if it goes down or up first in the wick, but I would expect to see an initial pump. And I'm not saying it will go to 69. I'm saying that would be probably the most obvious resistance if it were to spike hard. And if inflation goes up, I would expect to see us dump down towards the lows. Then Powell starts to speak in his press conference. Then it dips lower as he says, we're committed to not cutting rates and fighting inflation. Then people get super overly scared, and then we rally back into range. Why would we rally back into range if inflation went up? Because I would see that as Friday potentially, but definitely Monday and Tuesday as being front running of this. If this was insider selling because of they know about bad inflation or know about the Fed, then it's mostly priced in. People who are then panicking when the number comes out are probably panicking too late. And at least short term, we squeeze them. Now, where will price go beyond that? We don't know. I think the inflation number will give you the initial idea of what people are going to guess the Fed will do. And then after that, we'll see if there's any directional move to come. I would not be confident that this whole structure is bullish, because it's certainly not. That is definitely a weak candle from yesterday. Just because we had a nice wick on it and are holding currently at this level does not make this a bullish structure. It's certainly not, right? The consolidation is at best still sideways. And I think it can reclaim bullishness, but it's currently not. And don't be surprised that if this is just a rally up to back test and then lower we go. If you're a day trader or trading momentum, I think it will be very simple to capture the big move. There is an outside chance. I'm not really of the opinion that this will happen today because we've already seen the big selling. But there is an outside chance that today will look like this or this, except in reverse. A big bullish candle on the NFP from the start of May, a big bullish candle on the CPI in middle May. We could see, and we saw a big red candle on NFP this month. So it was a mirror image of that in reverse. And then this is CPI. This is CPI. I don't think that'll happen because, again, we had the big move yesterday. So it's unlikely to have another big one today. It seems like people are pre-positioned. But if we did have a big negative move, I think breaking through 66, you can trade momentum towards 62. I really do think it will go quickly to 64 and quickly to 62 if there's a really bad number or the Fed are particularly hawkish. So there's some ideas, different positions, setups, and everything like that. If you're not a day trader, please do not trade today. It is not your game. And I mean that in all sincerity. The news and the way to trade around it, so many people get it wrong because they think, oh, news comes out, then I trade based on whatever the news is. That's not it. You have to have systems to trade no matter what. Regardless of the news, you have to know where to get in, stop loss, position size, risk manage, get out. I've seen times where good news comes out and price dumps. I've seen times where bad news comes out and price pumps. If you don't know that, you're going to be confused. If you're confused, you're more likely to make a mistake and lose money. If you're new to trading, as I know many of you are now, this week, coming in, please just watch it. I will stream live for this. I will stream live at the FOMC and then at the press conference, so 6 p.m. UTC, and we'll talk through it then. So please do not bet lots of money today. There will be volatility. It is unknown. GM.